A delivery, you say hello and not goodbye.
Typically, the salesperson and the customer perceive the delivery of a new vehicle from two very different points of view. To the salesperson, the delivery all too often is the end of the sale, a time to get the customer on the road as quickly as possible and get on with the next sale.
The salesman was present, although he did not, he more or less pointed out the car and said, "There it is."
Then there are others who view the delivery not as the end of the sale, but as the beginning of the next one to this same customer.
He stood with us and went through the booklet that probably I would have been at home 2 hours reading, and he summed it up in 15 minutes, everything we needed to know.
Then he took us for a short orientation drive, and if that wasn't enough, he stopped at the gas station and filled our tank.
Now let's hear from one of our experts on the subject of delivery. Clint, what's in it for the salesperson to make the delivery a really big event?
Well, let me say this. Chevrolet has set a professional standard of performance in their Commitment to Excellence program. In this program, part of it is the delivery. It is an excellent practical way to make a delivery because this is the beginning of the owner follow-up. A delivery, you say hello and not goodbye. The customer remembers twice as much after the sale as they do before or during. Before the sale and during the sale, they're concentrating on how much money will I have to pay. Once they commit to that and they sign the contract and all the uglies are out of the way, then you can impress them. Several reasons for making a delivery. It's an excellent place to prospect. But you should be as proud as the customer is for his purchase of his new product, and you should show that. I would make a second feature presentation because it's very possible the person who bought did not remember everything you told him on the first presentation, but they might on the second. I would even consider making another demonstration ride.
What more can you tell us about making this sale the beginning of a new sale?
Well, certainly if we follow the individual properly, we're going to get that person back in about 4 years. Maybe a little sooner, but about 4 years. But the important thing of the proper delivery and follow-up after the sale is that each new owner has 4 areas of people they influence. They influence people on their job they work with. They influence their social friends. They influence their neighbors. And they influence their relatives. Now, if I follow this new owner properly, and he gives me a lead out of one of those 4 people that he works with and lives with and knows, and I sell that person, then that person has 4 areas of influence also. And if he gives me a lead, they have 4 areas of influence also. And all of a sudden, this thing starts to snowball, and this is how professionals do it in our business. As a result, after a while, they don't need any floor ups, they don't need any floor traffic. The only thing they have to do is follow their owners, and it starts with the delivery.
Clint, could you quickly now summarize the benefits and importance of the silver medallion delivery?
Jack, I'm going to go back again to say that this is the professional way to do it. And so many times I've seen salespeople in dealerships give the customer the keys to the car and says, "It's sitting out there on the curb." Is that professional? You want to capture this individual, and if you sell that person a day, you should always sell them the next one and the next one and the next one and get referrals from it. We go back again. It's the professional way to do our job.
Because delivery is so important, and so important to do right, Chevrolet long ago came up with the concept of silver medallion delivery, a very important part of our commitment to excellence. Let's talk about that for a moment. Silver medallion delivery is an organized, practical, effective way to deliver a new car or truck and get the most out of it from a standpoint of customer satisfaction. Either in the trunk or on the front floor of every new car or truck is a packet containing inspection forms that include the New Vehicle Inspection Checklist, GSD 99, the new Mirror Hanger Customer Delivery Receipt, GSD 155, and the Silver Medallion Door Jamb Sticker. Following the new vehicle inspection list, the technician makes the required underhood checks for loose connections, pinched vacuum hoses, and so on. He follows this with a road test to make sure the vehicle operates as it should and that there are no squeaks or rattles. On his return, he performs the required under-vehicle checks listed on the form. Next, all body and chassis checks are made as required. When all appearance checks have been made and the car given a final wash, his job is done. But as complete as this pre-delivery checkout is, there's another very important step, and this is where you come in, with your own personal checkout of every vehicle you sell, following the requirements of the Silver Medallion Delivery Receipt. This receipt is your personal guarantee to your customer that this vehicle has been prepared and inspected to make certain it meets the highest appearance and operational standards. Is the interior trim free of dirt, blemishes, and protective shipping material? Do the headlights and turn signals work properly? Does the horn work? Have the radio push buttons been set?
Don't phase her.
Has the clock been set to the correct time? Is the operation of the vehicle completely up to Silver Medallion standard? Only way to find out is to drive it. When you're confident that the vehicle is ready for delivery, put the Silver Medallion Delivery Receipt back on the rearview mirror and call your customer to set a time for delivery that is convenient to both of you.
It's ready to go. Sure. That time will be just fine with me. No problem. I'll look forward to seeing you too. All righty, bye-bye.
A key point to remember in making a delivery is that even though delivering new vehicles is old stuff to you, it isn't old stuff to your customer. To the customer, it's a big moment, one that he or she may have been waiting for with great anticipation for a long time. Watch this salesman as, keeping that thought in mind, he makes a real effort to share some of the customer's enthusiasm over the event.
Hi, Miss Traver. Oh, you're right on time.
This is my first new car.
Well, you're gonna love it. I've had it all cleaned up and everything checked over to make sure it's okay. Come on, let's take a look at it. Well, here we are.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I told you you're gonna love it. I mean, it's just...
Notice that almost as if he's showing off the car for the first time, Joe gives his customer a summary of the features that probably influenced her buying decision in the first place. Sure, the sale has already been made, so why sell the car all over again? Well, it's part of a good delivery, to build the customer's reappreciation of the car and solidify your relationship with that customer. You see, a subtle change has taken place. During the selling period, an almost adversarial relationship existed between you and the customer. But now the sale has been made. You can both relax and become friends. Friends sharing an important moment together. Using the owner's manual as a guide, make sure your customer knows how to operate all the controls and switches, how to start the car, how to turn the headlights on, and how the smart switch works.
Well, down here's your parking lights. Now here we have the smart switch, is what we call it. Got your cruise control, high beam, low beam, windshield washer wipers. Pull this back for your adjust the steering wheel. Now, all this is explained in the owner's manual, but I wanted to go over it with you personally to make sure that you understand everything.
I appreciate that.
Explaining things personally is well worth the effort.
Now, would you be buying your gas at self-serve stations?
Yes, probably. It saves money.
Well, in that case, there's a couple of things that we ought to look at under the hood.
Even if your customer never intends to check under the hood, she should know where things are. Some women drivers are just as familiar with engines as men are, or even more so. Don't assume they are, but make sure they know about vital points, such as checking the fluid levels and where to add oil, coolant, and windshield washer solvent. In covering the warranty, don't just explain the provisions, though of course you have to do that too, but at the same time, sell the warranty.
Now, the Chevrolet Limited Warranty is one of the best in the industries, Miss Traver.
Joe explains the provisions of the warranty, selling its benefits to his customer.
Now, the only thing is, to protect your car and your warranty, you must follow the maintenance schedule. Now, that's described in this folder. Do what it says and keep your records.
It certainly will.
Now, this is your tire warranty. It's covered by the tire manufacturer. And this is your General Motors protection plan, which you bought when you ordered your car.
Okay.
Now, this booklet explains all the items you'll receive in the mail from Chevrolet within 30 days or so. It's part of what we call our commitment to excellence.
Oh, and what's that?
Well, it's our way of trying to make your Chevrolet buying and ownership experience an enjoyable one, Miss Travers. You see, it starts when we receive the vehicle from Chevrolet, when we prep it, sell it, and deliver it to you. And to add to your ownership experience, we'll be sending you a benefit package, which includes hotel and car rental guides, pre-registered key tags, an ID card that gives you special rates at hotels, motels, and car rental agencies, a Let's Talk booklet to help you describe your service needs, your GM Protection Plan response card, and a handsome glove compartment organizer.
And all that will come by mail?
That's right.
Very good. I can certainly use all those things.
Great. Let's take a ride and familiarize you with how your car works. I just thought I'd pull in here and fill up the tank for you.
Well, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Gory. Fill her up?
Yeah, Bob, thanks, please. Why don't you take the wheel and drive us back to the dealership?
Okay.
So how do you like driving it?
Oh, I love it. It really handles so well.
Now, there's one thing more. I've already introduced you to the service department, but I'd like to remind you that they are open from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and from 7 a.m. till 12 noon on Saturdays. And they'll take your check and all major credit cards. I think that covers everything. Now, these are the knockout plugs from your keys. Hang on to them. Now, if you lose your keys, you can identify them by those plugs and order new ones.
Okay.
Would you sign your name here in OK Delivery for me?
Sure.
Thank you. Been a real pleasure being your salesman, Miss Traver. Is there anyone you know who might be in the market for a new Chevrolet?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is.
This customer's willingness to give the salesperson a referral is no real surprise. Why wouldn't she, after he's taken the time to make the buying experience so special for her? With the gem of a salesman like him, she'd be doing her friends a favor.
Okay. He'll be wonderful. I like him.
Thanks a lot, Miss Traver. Drive safely and enjoy that new car.
Oh, I will. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
If Joe is on his toes, Miss Traver will receive a thank you note from him. And 30 days later, a thank you letter from Chevrolet and a survey card will be mailed to her to determine if all items of the silver medallion delivery were covered. 30 to 40 days later, the customer will also receive from Chevrolet that packet of owner benefit materials which is part of our commitment to excellence. The glove compartment organizer provides the owner with a convenience holder for the owner's manual, maintenance schedule, registration certificate, and insurance forms. Also included are 2 Chevrolet identification cards, which introduce him or her as a valued customer to all Chevrolet service departments and give that customer a special rate at hotels, motels, and car rental agencies. There's also a set of pre-registered key tags. If dropped into any mailbox, the attached keys will be returned to program headquarters and forwarded to the owner. Finally, there's the interesting Let's Talk booklet, describing the various signals that a car gives when it's trying to tell its owner something. Audible signals, visual signals, performance signals. all to help the owner describe the symptoms to the service advisor when going in for service. That's the substance of commitment to excellence, silver medallion delivery. Those who know say it's well worth the time it takes because it solidifies customer loyalty as nothing else will. It helps give you the competitive edge that we all need in today's competitive automotive marketplace. The edge that we create ourselves in the dealership by the way the customer is treated when entering the showroom, by the way the vehicle is presented, delivered, and followed up, which many say is the most important step in the entire buying-selling process.
To me, it's like going out in the desert when you're thirsty and digging a well or finding an oasis to get a drink. And I can use this sold customer as the source to go back and get my next drink.
After you've delivered a new vehicle to your customer, your job is finished, right? Wrong, because you've only just begun to establish what can be a long and satisfying relationship. Following up your sold customers is a painless yet effective way to build a regular clientele. What is follow-up? It's anything that keeps your name and your dealership's name in front of the customer. And it's letting your customer know that you want to continue to be of service. It can be a telephone call shortly after delivery to inquire how the new car or truck is running. It can be a thank you note or a postcard announcing a service special. Or it can be a personal visit to the customer's home, or in the case of a commercial truck customer, his place of business. Any way you do it, a regular follow-up system is the best prospecting tool you can have. As you might imagine, there are some basic, proven procedures you can use to follow up. Though your own dealership procedure may vary somewhat, a good follow-up program should include call the customer within 3 days of delivering the vehicle. Ask how they like their new car or truck. If you can be of any service, say how much you appreciate their business. Call again 10 days after delivery. If the customer has been into the service department, ask if everything was taken care of. 17 days after delivery, call again and ask for referrals. Within 90 days, you should contact your customer again, either by mail or by phone. Make it brief. Ask if there's anything you can do. Ask them for names of potential buyers. Now let's hear what one of our experts has to tell us about following up sold customers. What exactly is following up a sold customer, Tex?
Well, to me, the following up is the procedure or the system to maintain contact with the people that you sold cars to. To me, it's like going out in the desert when you're thirsty and digging a well or finding an oasis to get a drink. And I can use this sold customer as the source to go back and get my next drink. No use going digging another well and finding an oasis if I've got a producer there then. And to me, the sold customer is my referral. That's my follow-up, or that's my owner. That's where I'm going to get at least 3 more sales per year off of every one of the cars that I've sold.
Does it really pay off?
Well, it will for the professional salesman who has the discipline to do it. And I want to stress that. If you don't have the discipline to do it, you're missing the best bet in the world. As a matter of fact, I think this is where so many salespeople fail, and I'd never like to speak of failure, because in this search for excellence that we are seeking in our profession, if we just realize that the customer has invested in us, and that we owe them the obligation of our relationship, of the follow-up, to see if everything is operating properly and so forth, yes.
What method is best, Tex? How do you follow up?
Well, frankly, my own personal belief is that there's many methods. Let's put it this way. As a matter of fact, as we all know, Chevrolet has this Commitment to Excellence program, which is placing very heavy emphasis on customer follow-up after delivery. And so we have some special materials that are mailed to the customer that ties the customer to the dealership, the product, and also to the salesman. So this is very important. Then other ways, of course, I've noted a couple down here, telephone, cards, and personal visits, especially to commercial customers. You know, a lot of people think that truck customers don't require follow-up because they're commercial. Hey, let me tell you, that's the best well you ever dug, because they multiply their services and themselves through so many more people a day than the individual passenger car owner. So the main thing is, if I was to choose one, if I was just to choose one, I would like the personal follow-up. But I think it takes a combination of them all, and then tying in with Chevrolet's program too.
What's the best method to keep track of sold customers?
I think if you got 1,000 salesmen, you got 1,000 follow-up methods, and the best way is something that's simple, something that you'll do on a daily basis, and something that you're dedicated and you believe in. Now, that may come in the form of well, I know a lot of salesmen use card index files, and that's fine. I think that's fine. They keep the name of the customer, the anniversaries, the wedding dates, and all of this thing, and the children and their ages, their likes, hobbies, and dislikes, and that's fine. Some use a ticker file according to the next contact date. I think you can combine all of those. But I think your best proven methods are only successful if you discipline yourself to do it every day. It's kind of like shaving, you know. If you don't shave, you're a bum. And I think this is the main thing.
How soon after delivery should you make your first contact?
From 3 to 5 days. And I want to stress that. This is so important. They're still happy with that purchase, hopefully. If you made the delivery right, they're happy with that purchase. I'd say within 3 to 5 days is the best time.
Why so soon?
Well, again, because they're enthused about the purchase. See, there's that pride of ownership, and they're showing people their ego is in the first fervor of flames here, and you want to capitalize on that fire because they're showing their car to people. They're proud of it. They want people to ask, why did you buy that car, or did you get a good deal, and so forth and so on. So that would be the first call, yes, would be on the 3rd to the 5th day.
What do you say to a customer on that first follow-up contact?
Well, now I want to, again, inject something that's very, very important to we professional salespeople. I never ask the customer for referral on that first call. I thank him for the purchase. I thank him for the right to earn his business. Now that he's made the purchase, I want his investment to be a pleasant one. I want his investment with me to be a relationship from now on. I want to earn the privilege of him selling him every automobile he buys from now on, and all of his friends. And I just want to make sure the car is running right. Is there any unanswered questions? Is there anything now that the honeymoon is subsiding that I can answer for you, so to speak? You know, the buying honeymoon. Okay,
Tex, how do you ask for referrals?
Well, I don't ask for referrals on the first couple of calls. To me, maybe it's just, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. The first 2 calls are on the basis, is your product running right, and so forth. If there's any questions I can answer, have you had a chance to read the warranty now? Do you understand that, and so forth? And then on the 3rd call, which is usually between the 15th and 20th day after purchase, I've now earned the right to ask that customer for the name and address or phone number of someone that they feel that I can sell an automobile to, and may I use their name as referral? And if they say I can use the name as referral, I will. Now, if they say, well, don't tell them I told you to call, then I'll say, well, that would be just between you and I.
Okay, what generally is the customer's reaction to asking for referrals? And if it is unfavorable, how should a salesperson handle that?
Well, I can not an authority on unfavorable because, frankly, I haven't had that situation. But I'm saying it probably could happen. I think, again, it goes back to the relationship that you form with the buyer from the very start. I've had them thank me, and I've even had some people say, you mean you're calling me to thank me for buying a car? Well, what is new in the business, you know? And they're astounded. They'd never been treated like that before. But you think for a moment, How many purchases have you made? Whether it's automobile, anything else. How many people have called you and thanked you? See, that makes you an unusual, exceptional, outstanding, a remembered person in the mind of that buyer who has invested his money or her money with you. And this salesperson has earned that right again. Frankly, I just don't. If they wouldn't give me a referral, then I think I'd say, well, I must have offended you. And look, do me a favor. I don't want to make that mistake again. Tell me, what have I said that would cause you not to want to give me the name of somebody to buy the car? But I don't think you'll have to do that. But that's still a good outlet valve.
In all honesty, Tex, how much extra time and effort does it really take to follow up a sold customer?
Well, you really struck a spark with me there, I'll tell you. The first mistake that a professional salesman can make is putting a time on anything. When you start timing yourself, whether it's in the sale or the follow-up or the delivery or any other aspect, you're making a tremendous mistake. The thing to do is to sit down and allocate a certain amount of time per day. Look, let's say you got an 8-hour day, maybe a 12-hour day. How much of that time are you face-to-face with a customer? See, you got unproductive sales time unless you're either searching for new customers or you're delivering a car or selling. Everything else that you do is unproductive time. So make that productive time. I don't even want to put an hour on it, but I just say this: every available minute that I can, I'm going to be on the phone or sending mail or something to my customers, thanking them for the business and asking them again for referral business.
This is all really valuable information, Tex. Can you give us a summary on how to follow up with these sold customers?
Yeah, well, again, I would have to say, in answer to that question, the 3 to 5 days, the 7 to 10 days, and the 12 to 15 day call, and the two, first of all, just thanking them for the purchase and seeing if things are all right, then asking for a referral on the third. But I would also say, to make a customer remember you, do things that everyone else is not doing. I'll give you an example. When you call or you're writing something, be creative. Don't be subservient. But I like to tell a customer, I want to earn your business. I want to earn the privilege of improving your transportation. I want that customer to know I'm working. And I would say, if we just inject the empathy, your creativity, and your desire to excel by professionalism, you're going to find that it pays. And selling your owners again and again and again on you, on your product, and your dealership, whether it be by mail or whatever media, it pays off.
As Tex said, whenever you follow up your sold customers, you're digging a well from which you can drink for many years. Build that lasting relationship on this foundation. First, call your customers within 3 days after the delivery and thank them for the business. Second, call again 10 days after delivery. Thank them again and ask if you can be of service in any way. Third, call 17 days after delivery and ask for referrals. Then every 90 days, contact your customer by mail or phone. Quarterly follow-up is the professional way to best keep your name in front of your customers and guarantee you future earnings and create a lifetime career in retail car and truck sales.
So I keep a log sheet, and I maintain that log sheet of everybody that I haven't sold a car to until I'm able to put a mark through. I say I stay with them till they buy or die.
On the road to a sale, following up unsold customers is one of the simplest and most effective ways to increase your sales volume. You have some advantages right from the start. You've already met the customer. You know what vehicle the customer is interested in, and the customer has already been inside your dealership. A recent survey among dealerships in various parts of the country produced some very interesting facts about follow-up. Now, this was an unusual kind of survey. Many studies have been done to find out why people buy what they do. This one was different. Its purpose was to find out why people do not buy. That is, why they walk. The first thing the survey showed was that on the average, you will close 1 out of every 5 of your ups. 4 out of 5 will walk. But here's the interesting thing. Even though the customer walks, you should not be discouraged. The survey showed that 47% of walks purchased a vehicle somewhere else within 2 to 3 weeks. Of the 53% who had not purchased a vehicle, more than half said they were still looking, were still in the market, and would buy within the next 3 months. So you should not look upon a walk as a lost sale, but as an opportunity to recover that sale with adequate follow-up. And you should not give up readily. You should maintain your follow-up efforts for a longer time than you may have thought necessary, and you should keep it up until you know the person has actually bought somewhere else. Let's talk to one of our experts now and get a perspective on following up on unsold prospects. Tex, what is your perspective on following up unsold prospects?
Well, first of all, a professional salesman has to realize that he's got an investment in that buyer. You got your time, you've spent time with the buyer, hopefully you've touched all your bases, but you have to realize that that buyer did not buy for some reason. And you've got to find out what that reason is. And the best way that I know of, if you haven't been able to close the sales while the people were on the premises in the car or truck, then the follow-up, if made promptly and properly, I can assure you, will usually bring out the real reason they didn't buy. A recent Chevrolet research pointed out that a vast majority of people that come into your dealership are going to buy within a few days or a few weeks. And I think, again, you know, we don't sell cars, we sell people, and it's that personal relationship between the salesman and the person. Now, let me tell you, true professionalism, you are obligated to protect your investment by following up that opportunity to do business. In fact, I can't even imagine a professional salesman not following up someone that he spent time with and has an investment with.
But Tex, what if a prospect doesn't want to give his name or phone number?
Well, first of all, I want to realize this. There's that fear of loss again. There's a lot of people have been hassled in this business. That's why we're stressing professionalism. We've got one reputation to build up and one to live down over a long period of time, and that's a juggling act. And the thing to do, if a customer will not give you his name and address, you don't press them for it. But I tell you, if they've got a trade-in, I've got a very smooth, little modulated procedure to move back into the throws and get control of the buyer. I'll hand them the appraisal pad and say, if you'll fill out the top portion and follow me, we'll take a look at your car. And start walking toward the car. Hand them the pen and the pencil. The minute that customer accepts that appraisal pad, they'll start writing. Now, I've been doing that for 47 years, and I've only had one customer in that period of time that wouldn't write his name and address. I didn't even ask him for it. He come in right off the start and he said, I'm not going to give you my name. I don't want to be hassled. All I want you to do is just give me your very best price. I said, beautiful. I handed him the appraisal pad, the pen, fill out the top portion and follow me. What was the top portion of the appraisal pad? Name, address, and phone number. He filled it out. Now, that's happened to me many thousands of times. To me, I think that's the degree of professionalism. If the customer won't give you their name and address, you can bet one thing. They've had an unpleasant experience somewhere in the past, and they're bringing that experience to you. That's an attitude. And that attitude is based on an opinion or an incident that's happened to them that they've got their guard up. And a professional salesman will work to get that guard down.
Okay, how do you make it a pleasant experience for them? What do you say to a prospect when you call him back?
Well, I guess maybe I'm a little bit of an actor. I'd like to think so. I think a good salesman has to be an actor. But when I call back, I put a plea on it, and I'm not a subservient begging plea. I merely tell the customer I obviously said or did something or failed to do something or failed to say something to cause them to leave without buying the car that they are entitled to and they deserve. Mr. and Ms. Buyer, don't you agree? You're entitled to that car? You do? Oh, yes. Then what did I do or say I need to know because I can't make that mistake again? I've had that question. The real reason, see, would pop out. You got to realize that there's only two types of objections. There's the real objection and the stated objection. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the stated objection, which is usually a stall or an excuse not to buy. And it's usually augmented by fear of loss. So I've got to get the customer in a position to where they'll open up with me. And by putting myself at their mercy, you know, on the plea clause, they'll come back and give me that information.
Do you personally, Tex, have any special methods of follow-up that work for you?
Yes, I do. And I recommend them for any young man or young lady who is striving to be a professional in this business, whether you're selling cars or trucks, either one. There's really 3 basic ways. You can do it by correspondence, letters, cards, what have you, or a personal visit. My favorite one happens to be I like to use the phone. I like to follow up on the phone. And or if I send a card, I'm going to call anyway. But I would say that a combination of those. But the thing about it is, find one that works for you and stay with it. Be patient with it. If you feel comfortable with it, it's getting you the results, you stay with it and you keep working it that way.
On an unsold prospect, Tex, when you call them back, do you ask for referrals on a recontract?
Under certain conditions, I might. If I feel that I have a good relationship with that buyer and there was a true reason, maybe it was finances or in some cases maybe a young couple just getting started, have not had a financial record and, you know, they couldn't buy. But if I form the right relationship with that customer, sure, I'll say, look, you've got time invested and I have too, and someday I'm going to earn the privilege of selling you an automobile. But in the meantime, I need the prospect's name or I need the name of somebody that I can sell a car to. Now, I know you know people in your position come in contact with many people every day, and I have my pen out here, my pad, Mr. and Ms. Bauer. Now, please tell me who I can call to sell a car to. Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to do that at all.
Okay, big question for you, Tex. How do you keep track of B-backs and other unsold prospects?
Well, first of all, I keep a log sheet. I don't like a lot of paper shuffling because basically most of us as professional salespeople, we're kind of shoddy bookkeepers. You know, if we kept beautiful records, we'd be a CPA or an accountant or something. So I keep a log sheet, and I maintain that log sheet of everybody that I haven't sold a car to until I'm able to put a mark through. I say I stay with them till they buy or die. And if they die, I mark them out. If they bought somewhere else, I'll mark them through. Well, let me tell you, that's another thing. You call an unsold buyer, and the buyer has bought another make car, I'll compliment them on it and ask them for a referral and ask them why I didn't sell them a car and that I hope I earn the privilege of selling them their next car. It's not, I've already got a dime invested in it, or quarter now with inflation in that phone call, so why not ask them for that favor?
Okay, Tex, thank you very much. We've discussed a lot of different ways to follow up unsold prospects. Can you summarize quickly for us?
Yes, first of all, realize you have an investment. The next thing, be persistent, be determined. Stay with them till they buy or die. Keep a record and even use an unsold prospect as a referral. I think that pretty well summarizes what a professional salesperson should do.
We all recognize that following up unsold customers isn't as easy as making 1 or 2 phone calls. On the other hand, it really isn't much harder than that. Remember, you have to be you. Get started with your own phone track, a follow-up telephone format that's comfortable for you. Write out, then try out some conversation openers like these. I checked out your questions. We just got in a new shipment of, we have a buyer for your, I have a great demonstrator that our used car manager just told me about. Well, you get the idea. The key is to get that customer's name and phone number as part of greeting and qualifying. If your dealership has master control or some other floor-controlled system, each walk-in prospect's name is automatically recorded, along with pertinent information about his trade, the vehicle he is interested in, personal and family information, any part of which can be your reason for calling back within 24 hours. You need only check your file ticket for the prospect's name and number. Whether your dealership has a floor control system or not, every customer that leaves without buying should get a phone call or at least a mail message from you promptly. According to the experts, salespeople that follow up their unsold customers within 24 hours and again recontact them within 3 days particularly affect their customers' buying decisions. Plus, as mentioned at the beginning of this module, recent non-buyer research points out that the buying cycle has lengthened considerably. Many people are taking a week, 3 weeks, and in some cases up to 3 months to buy. Keeping your good name in front of these potential buyers, letting them know you're still interested in meeting their transportation needs, is an excellent way to convert lost sales and invest in your professional future by following up unsold.
Have you ever been just real irate, just up in arms? You could hit somebody. The blood drains from your face. You turn pale. You're ready to fight. Does it ever happen to you? I think it's happened to all of us. How long do you stay on that mad?
Complaints are never easy to accept. We all like to think that we do our jobs well enough to avoid complaints. The reality is different. No matter how professional you are, you will get some customer complaints from time to time. It comes with the territory. So you need to make those complaints work for you. Do what you can to resolve complaints quickly and effectively. The key to satisfying complaining or dissatisfied customers is to use each complaint situation as an opportunity to provide additional customer service and reap the benefits of positive word of mouth as your satisfied customer tells everyone about your professionalism. Let's hear now from one of our experts on the way to handle customer complaints. How do you handle customer complaints?
First of all, Jack, let me make another point. So many salespeople do not like certain aspects of their job. We call it intrinsic values of a job and extrinsic values of a job. Intrinsic values of a job are things that you like to do. Extrinsic values of a job are things you don't like to do. For instance, I hit a different city every day of my life. Working in dealerships, a different dealership every day. I love to work in dealerships. I love to help salespeople. I love to help dealers and managers. That's the intrinsic values of my job. I do not like flying airplanes, checking in and out of hotels. If you are the President of the United States, there are things that the President does not like. But we have to do those things as professionals. One of the things that you will be required to do is handle complaints and listen to complaints. But what we should do is never argue with a customer. When a customer comes in and has got a complaint, always agree with them and disarm them. For instance, let's say a new owner has a complaint about say his windshield wipers. He comes in, he says, "Where are the windshield wipers on this car?" Well, now whose fault is that? Could that be the fact that we did not show him the smart stick where the windshield wipers are and they weren't there on his car? So, you know, are some of these complaints our fault? We can eliminate a lot of complaints if we'll do our job the way we should do. Another thing you might have, how about, I see this happen in a lot of dealerships. What about a customer comes in for delivery, say at 5 o'clock this afternoon, and the car is not out of new car make ready? Whose fault is that? What you should do is check about an hour or two before delivery is to be made and find out, will the unit be ready? If it won't be ready, you should call the new owner and tell them it's going to be delayed. Now, there are certain things that salespeople do not have control over, like the making of the product. If there's something that you have no control over, that should be given to the service manager or the dealer. Let him make those decisions that you have no control over. And I think another thing to eliminate a lot of complaints that a salesperson might have when they sell cars or trucks is that before the person leaves your dealership with a new product, you should take them to the service department and introduce them to the service manager or to a service advisor, get their calling card, and ask that if you have any problems, I'll be delighted to help you, but ask that you call this gentleman here. He can help you faster than I can, especially if I'm with another customer or whatever. The most important thing we can do is to realize that you must handle the complaint as quickly as possible, because if you do not resolve that person's problem, how many people do you suppose he will go tell that to? And do you suppose that you're going to get any referrals out of him if he said something about you or your dealership or your service or anything like that? It won't happen. So you've got some things that's not pleasant to do, but you must do it. Just remember, don't ever argue with the customer. Listen to him. Have some empathy for him. That's the way I do.
Let's take the complaint one step further. How do you deal with a customer who has become real emotional and angry?
Let me ask you something, Jack. Have you ever been just real irate, just up in arms? You could hit somebody. The blood drains from your face. You turn pale. You're ready to fight. Does it ever happen to you? I think it's happened to all of us. How long do you stay on that mad? The first thing I would do is smile at the guy, but, no big fat grin. Ask him to step in your office, get him away from the showroom floor and other people. Get them seated if you can. By the way, Mr. Jones, I was going to step out just before you came in and get me a cup of coffee. Could I get you one? If he allows you to do that, that's going to take you a few minutes to go do that, giving him time to cool off a little bit. Then when I come back, I'm going to sit and ask him questions about why he is so mad. I don't know what it would be. If it's a service complaint, I say, well, tell me about it. The more you can get this individual talking to you, the easier he comes down, and then he will make sense to you, and then you can maybe solve his complaint for him. If you can't, you always have a manager or a dealer over you. Just remember one thing, don't you get mad, because if we've got two people mad, we're liable to get us in a fight, and we don't need any of that. So just have some empathy for these people, and their complaint might not be real to you, but it is to them. Satisfy that complaint, and then you're going to sell that person another car or truck whenever the time comes around.
Let's look at how you can follow 8 key steps to handle most any customer complaint.
Hi, Ms. Miller. Ready to pick up those floor mats I called you about?
Hi, John. Yes, I am. And I've got a bone I'd like to pick with you while I'm at it, too.
Oh, really? What seems to be the problem?
Well, I read an ad in the paper from Crosstown Chevrolet for a car just like mine for $300 less. And it really ticks me off to think I paid more than I had to.
Whoa. Now I know why you're not smiling. Let's go into my office and talk about it.
All right.
Now, what seems to be the problem?
Well, at the time, I considered the price we had come to was a good one. I thought the deal was good, especially with what you were able to give me on my old car. But now I have my doubts.
Well, we have a sound pricing policy here, so let's see if we can't sort this thing out.
Okay.
You know there are 3 different models of your car. Are you sure that the ad that you saw is for the same model?
Yes, exactly. With air, power steering, AM/FM stereo, everything's the same. But here's the ad.
Well, just how much difference in price are you talking about?
Oh, about $300 difference, and that's enough to make me mad.
Okay, I can see that. Well, I think we found the solution to the problem right here.
What do you mean?
This ad is for the CS model. Yours is the CL. It has the special trim, and it costs more.
It does?
Yes. but it's worth it. What would you say if I could get you the comparative prices on the two models?
I'd appreciate that.
Okay. And here it is. The CL retails for $300 more than the CS model in the ad. You paid more, Mrs. Miller, but you got more.
Oh, I see. That really makes me feel a lot better.
I promised you, and I stand behind it completely, that you would get the full value of your money with us. And you did.
Well, I really love the car.
That's right. We worked together to select the best vehicle for you. And we will be here to help you with it whenever you need us. I want to thank you for bringing your concerns to me. If you recall, when you first came to look at our cars, I told you that your complete satisfaction was the most important thing.
Yes, I do recall, and that's good to know.
Now, let's go get those floor mats so that you can get on the road again.
Okay.
Complaints are not easy to handle. But when you follow the techniques outlined in this module, you can handle them effectively and professionally. Diffuse anger by remaining calm yourself. Listen and show empathy, understanding. Get the facts. Take notes. Don't rely on your memory. Identify the real problem. Agree on the next step. What shall we do about it? Thank the customer for bringing in the problem. Follow through to the resolution. 8 steps to handle complaints. And handling complaints to ensure complete customer satisfaction is one more essential part of a systematic selling system that works.